Hey everyone, I am so glad to be back. Finally, after some time, it's been a pause, and the reason is because some life updates. I've just been basically sick a lot. Some weeks I couldn't speak as well because of ulcers, and then I got hit by a car. I'm still recovering some injuries here and there, but my car is gone, so I had to deal with just a lot of things on top of juggling work. But let's just put that aside. I'm glad to be back. And this story is about, let's say, if you want to buy a condo, to decide between a higher or a lower floor. What are the plus and what are the minuses? Because as of at the time of recording this video, it's towards the end of August 2020. We're still facing the pandemic. Malaysia is pretty good, but the rest of the world is not, and the bank moratorium is ending soon. So a lot of lelong properties or auction properties will be up for sale. You might come into that situation. Another situation is where there are a lot of unsold houses by developers. There are new units but unsold, and also upcoming projects. The government is giving a lot of or offering a lot of discounts and incentives to buy new homes, and particularly in the city area, high rises. So let's go through the plus and minuses. All right. Who wins? Should you stay in a higher floor versus lower floor? So I found this nice chart on the edge, but I just want to go through it and tell you a little bit about what I think. So let's get started. Privacy, greater privacy from prying eyes if you're staying in the higher floors. Well, I don't really think so. It really depends. Like if you live in a city and it's really dense, one block to the next block you can live really high up, but then if there's a block opposite, obviously they can see you. So yeah, I think it's a little bit too general. Second thing, it's saying vermin, higher floor, less prone to vermin. This is overgeneralized. I don't think the vermins discriminate on you based on what levels you're staying at. Just saying. So if you're at level 5 versus level 15, oh, you will still get lizards. Cockroaches still love the place. If it's dirty or rainy weather, ants will still come. You will still get those. The only thing I can think of is if you live in 20 floors and above, then you might get less mosquitoes, because I think when it's really windy, then you get less mosquitoes, something like that. But yeah, vermins don't really discriminate. View, so it's saying less obstructed view if you live in the higher floor. I think I will only reference this mostly to the height of the tree line. So for example, if you live on the 10th floor and above, as long as you are above the tree line, then you can see a lot more things. Whereas if below, you might be blocked by the branches and all that, or shop houses. So then if you buy a condo and you want really nice views, then that might be something you might want to ask and check out. But if you're like me, where when you come home it's already like at the time of recording this is at night time already, then it wouldn't really matter, would it? Natural light, again, this is very general. It really depends. If there's a big block of tower next to your building, you might be on the top floor, but you will still be blocked at certain times of the day depending on where the sun location is. Temperature applies as well. Air quality, so it says that you might be easily exposed to dust and haze brought by the wind. True, somewhat, but yeah, if you live in the lower floor, just buy an air purifier. That should take care of it. So not really a big issue, because you're still in the same building. Unless you're living in a building with 50 stories or 40 stories, then Okay, then that's really obvious. But for the most part, I think in PJ area anyway, there's like maybe 15-20 floors, so it's not that significant. Noise is something big, and I'll get into that later on. It just says further away from noise on ground level, but distant dins are audible if you're on the higher floor. And if you're on the lower floor, within hearing range of surrounding bars and nearby noises. I'll get into this a little bit more later. But I think the biggest factor you should consider is the price. Generally, if you live in a condo, the each floor you're paying about, I think, 1,000 or 1,500 ringgit more. So there's a big difference staying in, for example, the fifth floor versus the 20th floor of a condo. That you have to take into consideration. Accessibility and unforeseen circumstances. I think it really depends. If you are an owner occupied, so you're looking to buy your own unit, it really depends on your comfort level. But I think if you want to rent out the unit as a long-term rental or Airbnb, maybe just get the lower floor, because let's say, for example, that condo, right, is next to public transportation, so that's a selling point. So if you get the lower unit, then it might be cheaper, you're not staying there anyway, then you can rent it out quite easily. And because the cost to purchase is less, then maybe you can rent it out and save some money on your monthly payments, if that makes sense. But that's just what I think. I think two factors that you really want to zoom into if you're buying for your own use. Okay, let's go through them. The first one is, where is the podium, the facility floor? And this is really important. If you're buying a high-end condo, very likely it will be on the rooftop, or there'll be something there, or a dedicated space. So I think that is fine. But if you're living in a low cost apartment or a medium cost condo, something like that, that's when you have to watch out. Because sometimes for very high density properties, and let me give you an example, right? My apartment is next to a shopping mall in Damansara. So what happens is, the podium is on level 3 to level 5 instead of the rooftop. And because some units are rented out to a lot of foreign workers, and then to top that off, maybe the management company is, they're trying to save costs, they're trying to get, cleaners might not, their cleaning schedule might not be so frequent. Then the problem of all this unsightly rubbish throwing everywhere. So the people living on top are like throwing down cotton buds, food wrappers, chicken bones, and cigarette butts, and all these kind of things. So you really have to watch out. I know the selling point could be like, wow, quite nice, like if you live on the podium floor, you can just open and walk out. But just watch it. We are not like the Japanese culture where it's cleanliness is a big thing. Of course, because of COVID now, things are getting better, but generally in Malaysia we still have a lot of problem where, this tidak apa attitude still exists. So if you want to buy a budget unit, maybe buy like 2 floors above the condo. So if you really like to exercise or use the facilities, just use 2 flights of stairs down and you are there already. But I advise against buying one if it's a lower cost condo or a really high density unit. Do not buy on the podium floor. This is one big thing. Another big thing that I like personally is, if it's an unsold building and there's a good promo and you're thinking of grabbing it, best to not just go to the sales gallery, but actually go to the unit and see the unit for itself. because of this access point. Are you a light sleeper or not? And this is very important because as you can see, like after work, when I come back, what do? Rest for a while and then sleep. So Monday to Friday, you spend all your time mostly to rest, recuperate. Of course, Saturday, Sunday, then you spend time in the living room and all that. But if you're really light sleeper, you have to really figure out from your unit, right? Where is the access point? Because when people drop off or pick up, a lot of honking, which could disturb you. How far are you from the lift shaft? Because then you can hear a lot of mechanical noises, and all that. That could bother you. And then the boom gates where the cars go in. Where is the security post in location to your unit? If it's far away, then that's most ideal if you're a light sleeper. Otherwise, you don't want to buy a unit with really nice views but really crappy experience in terms of noise pollution. That doesn't help. So think about this if you're considering to purchase a unit that's already built. And yeah, that's all I have to share in this episode. I hope you found some of it useful. Don't forget to do the like and the subscribe thing. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next episode. Bye guys.